Good afternoon. Today is March the 15th, 2022. I hope you all are doing well. We're still continuing on with the Sermon on the Mount. We're still in chapter 5 of the book of Matthew. Jesus is still teaching those with him. We finished up the Beatitudes a couple weeks ago, but we're continuing on with Matthew chapter 5, verse 13. Jesus tells the people with him, "You are the salt of the earth." Well, salt does two things, as you probably know. One, it makes it enables food to taste better. It makes food taste better, and it makes it more enjoyable. So, as the same way that salt makes food more enjoyable, so believers in Him, those that are filled with His Spirit, love out of our abundance and overflow of worship, of trust, of love in our lives, that will spill over and it will make life more enjoyable for those in our immediate area. So God's joy, God's love, trust, the worship that we give God personally, it'll make for a more enjoyable life to those around us. There'll be a sense of hope and a sense of that things will get better. Even in the long run, even life after death, things will be better. Also, salt, it preserves. Salt is a preservative. Salt is used to preserve food. And in the same way, we are salt and we help preserve those around us. Now, salt, I remember my dad, he would catch a lot of fish, too much fish to eat in one setting, so he would freeze fish and we'd maybe have a fish fry one day in the future. And I remember he and my mom, they would add the fillets of fish in bags, fill it with water, and put tons of salt in the bags. The salt was a preservative to keep the fish from spoiling. Well, the world's sinful nature, the world's corruptness, it decays life, and some of the sinful nature as far as the world that can decay life is hatred, envy, jealousy, rage. But Paul tells us, and I get these verses, I get these attributes from Galatians chapter 5, where he's talking about the fruit of the Spirit. Well, I just talked kind of about the fruit of the world with the hatred, envy, jealousy, rage, and so on. But the fruits of the Spirit, God's Spirit living within us and His fruit being produced in our life, it can help preserve life. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. So when we are showing and when we have God's fruit being produced in our lives, it can catch the attention of others around us and it can make them thirsty. Salt can make you thirsty too. So we can make people, with God's love in our lives, with our actions, it can make people thirsty for His love, and we can connect them to Christ and preserve life. William M. Thompson wrote a book in 1868 called The Land and the Book. He talks about a merchant who bought all kinds of salt. And he bought this large quantity of salt. I think he bought it from a location that the salt wouldn't be taxed. So he bought all this salt in order to avoid taxes, and he went and hid it. Well, with the nature of how he was storing the salt, and because it sat stagnant, somehow the salt loses its saltiness. So the lesson learned there is salt, we don't need to be hidden from the world. We need to intermingle, have friends, and be that salt that pours into all kinds of people in our lives, where we work, go to school, wherever we may be. May we be salt to those around us. I hope the glare from the sun's not too much in my background, but I pray for you all, pray for the trucking community, keep you safe. If you have any specific prayers, hit me up at truckers.pray@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.